Okay, so this is Dice Kimura, and I'm doing a review of the Billm modded Blues Junior. And I've done a review on this amp before, and I got so many emails and questions and comments, and I thought I'd do another review with a lot better microphone. So I'm using a Shure stereo condenser mic, and I'm going from my Fender Stevie Ray Vaughan Signature Strat into the Blues Junior. And I'm also going through an Ibanez Tube Screamer pedal, which is not on at the moment. I'll tell you when I turn it on, but I wanted to put it into the signal chain in case I need a little bit extra gain at low volume. So right now it's not on. Everything is passive. And I'm going through my Stevie Ray Vaughan Signature Strat. I'm in the 4th position in the front. Just to give you a better context, I'm going to take my Monster. I'm going to go straight in, just so you're making sure you understand. This is a straight up sound. Later I'll use a pedal. So this amp sounds absolutely massive at a low volume. I'm pretty loud right now. You can tell by the volume of my voice compared to the guitar. But it sounds amazing. The sparkle's huge. Okay, so let's talk about the settings. Let me just bring this up so you can see. I got reverb. Everything is custom on this amp. I customized the reverb as well. I got a mod reverb in there. It's a little darker tone. I kept the tapering the same on this one. I have another Billm where I modded the taper of the reverb. I also put a standby switch, which is great live. I like to warm up the tubes. I just pop them on. Amp settings. I got the master straight up at 12 o'clock. These amps, they actually go to 12. One more than the Spinal Tap guy that only goes to 11, by the way. These go to 12. And the master volume's at 12. I've got the middle pushed a little bit. Out of 12, it's going to 8. Bass is at 5. Treble is at 5. I've got the presence knob, which was added. That's a mod, by the way. I've got that at about, I don't know, 4. I've got the fat boost off. And I've got my channel volume at about 6. I guess that's not channel volume because there's only one channel on this amp. But if you're familiar with the Blues Junior, you have a volume and then a master volume, and that allows you to dial in more dirt or more gain. So this amp with both the master and the volume straight up, here's the sound. So one of the things that's really obvious, and I'm hoping that's the reason I did this second recording, is I really wanted to show you the bass response. It just sounds incredibly massive. Why is the bass so big? Well, there's a few reasons. I obviously modded the amp. So both the output transformer is modded to the TO20 output transformer, and the TP24 transformer was also modded. But on top of that, I also changed the speaker, and I put in a Celestion. This is a Heritage Greenback made in the UK. It's 30 watts. It's 8 ohm, 12 inches. They don't make these anymore, I believe. I got it used on eBay. And the reason I put the Heritage is because it's 30 watts. With this amp, the bass response is so big that in just a few months of playing it, I actually blew out a 25 watt Chinese Greenback. And so I went for the 30 watt just to give me 5 extra watts so I wouldn't blow it out. And this magnet on this cone, it's as big as, well, it's one of the biggest magnets I've seen. It's one of the biggest speaker magnets I've seen. So it's huge. So it sounds massive. I actually play this in stereo. I play these at church, and I play 2 of these in stereo, and you just won't believe how big that sound is. It's just something out of this world. But anyway, I got actually right now books falling off the bookshelf right now from the vibration just now. But anyway, so I'll just run through my pickups a little bit. This is a Strat front pickup. Here's a half tone. on my bridge. This is the Joe Barden. I'll get this in the camera for you. It's the Joe Barden P90. Sounds pretty good on this amp. Okay, so let's get into. I'm going to put a little bit of tube screamer on. I hope you don't mind. Some people get really upset when you put distortion on a sound in a review I found. So if that's you, please no hatred. But it just really does give you a more complete review, because I do expect you to probably use this amp with some overdrive. And I'm using an Ibanez Tube Screamer. It's a TS808HW, the hand-wired series. So again, here's with it off. I'm in the 4th position on my Strat. And I've got the Tube Screamer on just a little bit. You heard it pop, it just went on. Which is like deceptively using a Tube Screamer to sound kind of clean, actually. I like to use just a tiny bit. That's even too much gain. So that's what it sounds like. This is how it is again without the Tube Screamer. Let me show you a few features of this amp. So basically, what were the exact mods that I did? Well, I did the basic kit mod. I changed out, actually Bill personally changed these out. So I say I did it, but actually he did it. He did the TO20 output transformer. He did the presence control mod, which is here. Okay. He did the cathode follower, the switchcraft input, which is just a reinforced input, not the plastic, the TP24 transformer. And at his suggestion, he did the line out, which I never use. I always mic this sucker live. Like I said, I changed the reverb to the mod reverb, MOD, and then I also changed the speaker to the Heritage Greenback 30 watt Celestion Heritage Greenback. Also, these tubes are different. These are the TAD tubes, also at Bill's suggestion. And then later I went and changed the standby as well. Okay, so here's what it sounds like. Now let me give you some more Tube Screamer drive, okay? I'll bring down the volume a little bit. Well, that's enough of that. I'll tell you what, I also wanted to show this to you on some other guitars. So let me just get my Telecaster. And I'll be using a Fender Standard Tele with the N3 bridge pickup. And I got an Analog Man Big T in the front. If you want to see the review, just check my channel for my Tele review. Also, if you want to see the guitar I was playing, the Strat, I did a whole bunch of mods to that. If you want to find out what I'm doing to that and how and why, there's another video on my channel about my mods to my Strat or something like that. Okay, so here's the Tele, exact same settings with the Tube Screamer off. Sounds pretty good. Here's half tone. Again, I'm going to plug straight in, just taking the Tube Screamer right out of the signal chain, straight into the amp. And you're noticing I'm getting a gain bump just by doing that, and so that's always good to go straight in. This is the bridge of the Tele. Let's experiment a little bit with settings here. I'll bring down the master and I'll bring up the volume. Man, that's huge. That's so big. I'm going to just roll back the volume a little bit. Bring up the presence. Bring up the treble. Actually, let's just try something crazy. Let's turn the treble and the mids all the way up and the bass a little bit down. See what happens. That sounds pretty good, actually. Just dime out. That there's a fat switch too. I haven't engaged it yet, but I'll leave it off at the moment. Just a hair more reverb. So if I clean this sound up, this is half tone. to what I had, everything at noon. Put everything at noon again, just to compare. Still on the bridge pickup on the telly. Now that tone is a lot more robust on the bottom end with everything at noon. Actually, I like that a little better. It's cleaner, but it behaves like a telly. If I take that and I give myself a little bit of channel gain, see what I hear that speaker begging for mercy. I think I'm going to back off a little bit. By the way, this amp is modded. It's at 18 watts, folks. The volume level is absolutely astonishing. I've actually A-B'd this to one of the guitar players in my band has a Blues Junior that's stock. He just changed only the tubes and the speaker, but the circuitry is stock. And he was thoroughly stunned when we A-B'd it. This at 18 watts, it's got the volume of, like I would say, like a 35 watt amp. And that's why even at halfway up, I'm pushing a 30 watt speaker and I can hear it kind of like crackling a little bit, like it's distorting on a level that is being pushed beyond what is comfortable. So that's why I backed off. By the way, that comes from blowing a lot of greenbacks. So I know exactly when I hear that sound what that means, by the way. Alright, well let's try it with a little tube screamer. Just gonna put that sucker in to the signal chain and see how it responds. Okay. So this is straight in. It's interesting. I feel like I lost a lot of signal already. And I'm using a Mogami and a Monster. So go figure. I'll bring it on. I'll put everything kind of in the middle for the tube screamer. Put the drive all the way up and the level in the middle. An actual 66 Fender Blackface deluxe reverb and a 66 super reverb. And I had my deluxe, I had to sell the super reverb because they called the cops on me so many times that they were going to take me to court, actually. If you can believe it. I know it's hard to believe. But now I'm in a soundproof office, so it's no problem. Anyway, I A-B'd this amp, and I have a couple of other Blues Juniors that are Billm modded. And I A-B'd them with my actual 66 Deluxe reverb. And this was as good or better. And when I realized that, I actually sold my Blackfaces because I realized these are not going to break down in the near term. And I don't have to be worried about resale value or anything. These I got road cases for them, and I use them at live. They sound great. They're great for clubs or smaller venues where you can't play a half stack, and you still want to sound huge. Because of the mods and with the help of the pedals, I get a real 50s tweed sound that I can get it to sound like a Marshall. I'll often stack two tube screamers back to back, just like Stevie Ray Vaughan. So I'll just go in one and out the other and into one. I'm using two TS-808 hand wires on one of my rigs. Often lives, I'll use this with the King of Tone, Analog Man King of Tone, and then for leads, I'll hit an exotic effects EP boost, and I'll just have that dimed out to clean boost. So anyway, this is it with the tube screamer again, like on the front pickup, some blues. I hope I'm not overloading the microphone. Let me back it down a little bit. Alright, so Telly, it's a very nice fit. I also have the Les Paul handy. Let's try that guy. Obviously, I'm expecting a lot more output with the Les Paul. So, same drill. I'll go straight in to the Les Paul into the Billm. Oh, you know what works better when you plug it in? Let me see. There we go. Hopefully it's in tune. Whoa. It is gorgeous. I'll show you some funk tones on the Les Paul. Here's the front pickup. I gotta just dial in this EQ a little bit. So we have lots of bass. I can roll that down. And let's try the opposite. I wonder if I bring up the master and roll down the channel volume. Wow, that's a lot more headroom. I like it. Bring up the highs. Bridge pickup. Highs are pretty harsh now. Let's try this. Man, that is huge. I'm going to roll back that presence a little bit. Hope you guys are hearing that over in YouTube land. The bass is massive, the highs are sparkling, the mids are raunchy. And this is straight in, folks. This is my monster right in there. Pickups are just dimed out. good. Make sure you comment on this and let me know what kind of guitar you're playing and what kind of rig you're working Man, that's money. How about some woman tone? I gotta be careful because the amp is pushing a sound bigger than the speaker can handle, so I can hear it because I'm in the room. But if you can hear out there, you just hear that kind of a. It's I hear the speaker separating from the magnet, basically. Okay, so hopefully that gives you a really comprehensive view. So I like it. In terms of amps, I mean this. Everybody asks me, "What is that? Is that a Fender?" I say it was a Fender. It is no longer a Fender. It behaves like everything I would want out of an amp. All the bass, all the mids, all the highs, all the spank and sparkle, all the natural MIDI driven, speaker driven overdrive, 60s kind of breakup at minimal volume, and I like it. I like to play these in stereo. I'll split my signal with like a delay pedal, and I'll actually go right and left. And in my other Billm, I'll use another one with like a Celestion vintage 30 speaker or something, and then I'll be pushing. This one is a vintage. It's a heritage greenback, but actually live I've been using it with inside of an isolation cab with a Celestion cream like the band Cream, but it's called a Creamback. It's 65 watts, and I've been pushing this. This has been pushing the Creamback, and the other amp pushes the Vintage 30. That's kind of a nice stereo sound. The Vintage 30 has a little more spank, and this one is just really meaty. So together they make a happy marriage, I believe. Anyway, that's what I got for you. Definitely email me or comment. I try to respond to all my comments. And this is one of my amps in my studio here that I'm using. So hopefully that helps some of you out. I've been getting so many emails and comments. I appreciate them all. I read them all. But I felt compelled to make another video because there was just so many questions about this amp and why it sounds so good and why it's modded and what the mod actually does. But if you get it done, I think you'll be thrilled. So let me just wrap it up there, and I'll see you with the next video. Thanks so much for watching, guys.